Good afternoon. It is my honor today to announce the 100th class of Pulitzer Prize winners. In the beginning, winners were notified by U.S. mail and later, for many years, by telegram. Today, we welcome a virtual audience watching this announcement on YouTube and Facebook and following our Twitter feed. My name is Mike Pride, and I am the administrator of the Pulitzer Prizes. I'm speaking to you from the World Room in Pulitzer Hall, the site of Columbia University's Graduate School of Journalism. Like the prizes, the school was Joseph Pulitzer's idea and got its start on his dime. Columbia University has been the home of the prizes for 100 years. Because this is our centennial, programs are being held nationwide to celebrate the values represented by Pulitzer-winning work. Our Campfires initiative with the Federation of State Humanities Councils and other partners is hosting literally hundreds of events. Most are free, and there is probably one near you. Please attend and participate. A calendar of events is available at our redesigned website, pulitzer.org. There you will also find a growing anthology of Pulitzer Prize-winning work, original essays by Pulitzer winners, a new video celebrating the prize centennial, and news from past and present campfires. Our goal is to spark a national conversation about journalism, arts and letters, and music. You are welcome to join in. This year, the Pulitzer Office received nearly 3,000 entries in all categories. For all entries, our juries are the first hurdle. Each spring, we invite 25 scholars, poets, authors, playwrights, composers, musicians, and critics to form the juries that judge the books, plays, and music. Later, we assemble 77 journalists and educators to evaluate journalism entries. Jurors uphold high standards in pursuit of a single purpose. In each category, this purpose is to choose as finalists, in no order of preference, the 3 best works. The finalists then go to the Pulitzer Prize Board, which spends the winter reading and studying them. Then the board, with its panoramic view, chooses the winners. To win, a nominee must receive a majority from the voting board members. No majority, no prize. The board does not discuss or debate its decisions publicly, nor do I. We operate on the premise that the work of the prize winners speaks for us. Without further ado, here are the winners of the 2016 Pulitzer Prizes. In public service, for an investigation of severe labor abuses tied to the supply of seafood to Americans, including reporting that freed 2,000 slaves. The Pulitzer Gold Medal goes to the Associated Press. In breaking news reporting, for exceptional coverage of the shootings in San Bernardino, California, and the terror investigation that followed, the Pulitzer Prize goes to the staff of the Los Angeles Times. In investigative reporting, for a stellar example of collaborative reporting that revealed escalating violence and neglect in Florida mental hospitals, the prize goes to Leonora Lapeter Anton and Anthony Cormier of the Tampa Bay Times, and Michael Braga of the Sarasota Herald Tribune. In explanatory reporting, for their examination and expose of law enforcement's enduring failure to properly investigate reports of rape, the prize goes to T. Christian Miller of ProPublica and Ken Armstrong of the Marshall Project. In local reporting, for exposing a local school board's culpability in turning some county schools into failure factories with tragic consequences for the community, the prize goes to Michael LaForgia, Kara Fitzpatrick, and Lisa Gartner of the Tampa Bay Times. In national reporting, for its initiative in creating a national database to illustrate how often and why the police shoot to kill and who the victims are most likely to be, the prize goes to the staff of the Washington Post. In international reporting, for well-reported and movingly written accounts giving voice to Afghan women who were forced to endure unspeakable cruelties, the prize goes to Alyssa J. Rubin of the New York Times. In feature writing, for an elegant scientific narrative of the rupturing of the Cascadia Fault Line, a masterwork of environmental reporting and writing, the prize goes to Catherine Schultz of the New Yorker. In commentary, for columns that probe the legacy of busing in Boston and its long-term effect on education in the city, the prize goes to Farrah Stockman of the Boston Globe. In criticism, for television reviews written with an affection that never blunts the shrewdness of her analyses or the easy authority of her writing, the prize goes to Emily Nussbaum of the New Yorker. In editorial writing, for fiercely indignant editorials that demanded truth and change after the deadly assault of an inmate by corrections officers, the prize goes to John Hackworth of Sun Newspapers, Charlotte Harbor, Florida. In editorial cartooning, for work that conveys wry perspectives through a sophisticated drawing style, the prize goes to Jack Oman of the Sacramento Bee. In breaking news photography, we have 2 Pulitzer Prizes this year for work that captured the resolve of refugees, the perils of their journeys, and the struggle of host countries to take them in. The winners are Mauricio Lima, Sergei Ponomarev, Tyler Hicks, and Daniel Eder of the New York Times, and the photography staff of Thomson Reuters. In feature photography, for the revealing story of a boy who strives to find his footing after abuse by those he trusted, the prize goes to Jessica Rinaldi of the Boston Globe. And now for the prizes in arts and letters and music. In fiction, for a novel that tells a layered story in the wry voice of a man of 2 minds and 2 countries, the Pulitzer Prize goes to The Sympathizer by Viet Thanh Nguyen. In the drama category, for a landmark American musical about a gifted and self-destructive founding father, the prize goes to Hamilton by Lin-Manuel Miranda. In history, for a rich and surprising new telling of the journey of an iconic soldier through the perils of mid-19th century America, the prize goes to Custer's Trials, A Life on the Frontier of a New America by T.J. Stiles. In biography or autobiography, for a finely crafted memoir of a youthful obsession that has propelled the author through a distinguished writing career, the prize goes to Barbarian Days, A Surfing Life by William Finnegan. In poetry, for a collection of poems that bear witness to the old losses and tragedies that lie beneath a global age of danger and uncertainty, the prize goes to Ozone Journal by Peter Balakian. In general nonfiction, for a deeply reported book of remarkable clarity, showing how the flawed rationale for the Iraq War led to the explosive growth of the Islamic State, the prize goes to Black Flags, The Rise of ISIS by Joby Warwick. In music, for a highly original work in which notated music and improvisation mesh in a sonic tapestry that seems the very expression of modern American life, the prize goes to In for a Penny, In for a Pound by Henry Threadgill. This concludes the list of the Centennial Year Pulitzer Prize winners. The work of the journalism winners and finalists will be posted shortly on Pulitzer.org. Those in this room may now pick up from public affairs staff thumb drives of all the winning work, along with other pertinent information. In about 10 minutes, I will return to the lectern to take any questions you might have. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, you have the links. It's been 8.
All right.
Are they on? Okay.
One should be over that side. You should go over that side.
Okay.
So I'm glad to take questions. The only rule is that you're not allowed to ask any that I can't answer. Yes.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm Deepti Hajela from the Associated Press. Is there anything you can, any kind of overviews for what, what kinds of nominations you got, any particular themes you saw, anything you can tell us about the entries?
You're talking about in journalism, right? So I would say that it was really a robust year for journalism. I felt like when it came down to the finalists, and I think the board would pretty much confirm this as well, that the range of big news in the world was well represented by the stories in the finals for the Pulitzer Prizes. And I think if you look at the results as a whole in journalism, we cover a lot of the bases. They cover a lot of the bases. So I guess what that means is that some really, really good work was done on the major journalistic challenges of the year. And I think that's what we see in the results of the prizes. Anyone else?
For ProPublica and Marshall Project?
Well, I would say that almost every prize had a big internet component. And I would say that, yes, there were a couple of prizes that were won by internet-only or digital-only publications, but a great many of the newspapers that won are real innovators in the digital world. And I think one of the things that we see a lot more in the prizes than we have in the past is superb data journalism to support the conclusions that the reporters reach in reporting the stories. So I don't see the great divide between digital journalism and legacy newspaper journalism, because I think the best of the legacy newspapers are moving very effectively into the new world. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask about Hamilton, the winner of the Drama Award, which was a very buzzed, and there was a lot of hype on the internet that Hamilton was going to win and what would happen if it didn't win. I was just wondering if there was any concern whatsoever if it hadn't won, if there was...
I don't worry too much about what doesn't win until it doesn't win. And when it does, that's good for me. But I think, we had a very good field in drama this year, and there was just one play that really stood out to our board, and that was Hamilton. That's really all I can say. I mean, it's a matter of which finalist gets the majority vote and how quickly that happens, and when it does, game over. Yes.
Hi, I'm Isabella Cordero from Eduardo Mora High School with the News Literacy Project. Do you think it's important that the winners reflect what's currently going on in the news, like issues about gender, race, and social awareness?
Well, I would say Yes, it's important. And I would say that this lineup of winners stacks up pretty well on that score. I think there's a lot of, there's winners about race and gender, and I mean, my hope as the administrator when we go into the prize process is that we'll wind up with the kind of lineup that we have today, which really does reflect what's going on in the world in very important ways and actually sheds new light on all of the issues that, you know, the subjects of the stories. Yes.
Going back to the idea of technology and news mixed together nowadays in the new world, how do you think that social media in particular changed the way that we perceive news nowadays?
I think it does it for good and ill. I think the good is that people can find out faster when something important happens. I think that particularly in the early stages of a news story, there's a great advantage in having social media that wasn't, you know, that wasn't available in the past. I think the only, I guess the downside I would say is that sometimes it takes time to analyze events and tell what really happened. And social media sometimes gets in the way of that. So I think that most of the journalism you see here, much of it has a strong social media component. I mean, we allow social media, of course, as one of the platforms for the news in many of our categories. But I think most of the stories here show that with time and the ability to step back a little bit from events, reporters are telling what really happened.
The New Yorker's 2 wins, is that the first for a magazine?
Those are the first 2 since we, last year was the first time that we allowed magazines to enter our competition in 2 categories. We had a finalist last year, but no winner. This year we had 3 finalists and 2 of them won. So they are the first since we made that change. And now 5 categories are open to magazines. And, you know, this is something that the board in what is something of an off-season will look at whether or not to do a further expansion, but they're the first winners.
So for drama, it says you only had 88 entries. That seems like a low number. Is that, did everyone bow out because of Hamilton, or?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, so I really can't answer that directly. But I don't think it's a huge drop. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some that didn't enter because they saw Hamilton coming, but I couldn't verify that. Other questions? Yes. They're coming.
You said that there were 3,000 entries across all the categories. Could you tell us how many entries you had for the journalism awards in particular?
I believe it was, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this, something over 1,100, between 1,100 and 1,200.
Thank you.
Those numbers will be in the packet that comes with, I think they're in there somewhere. Last call. Thank you all very much.